Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your weekend. We also have your Boredom Busters coming up, but first, our top story. A crash temporarily shut down traffic on Highway 11 southeast of Sioux Falls last night. Authorities closed the intersection of Highway 11 and 271st Street south of Schindler, while first responders worked the scene of what the sheriff's office says was an injury accident. The intersection reopened before 10:30 last night. There's no word on the extent of injuries from that crash. Read all about it. There's new life for 4 South Dakota newspapers that shut down last week. Publications in Brookings, Huron, Redfield, and Moody County now have a new owner. Here's a look at the website for the Moody County Enterprise. The paper's top story announced it's reopening under new management. According to the article, a company called Champion Media has purchased all 4 South Dakota papers. An article in the Huron Plainsman says readers will notice some changes, but printing should begin next week. Now, this news comes a little over a week after the former owner sent a message to employees letting them know that the papers would be shutting down immediately. Champion Media filed documents with South Dakota's Secretary of State's office earlier this week. The company's website says it's based in North Carolina, but also runs newspapers in northern Minnesota and North Dakota. If you'd like to read more about the new ownership and the changes, you can find links to the Plainsman and Enterprise on KELOLAND.com. The new Marcelo Lebeau Elementary in Sioux Falls is all set to welcome its first students to school next week. School staff and family members of Lebeau gathered Friday to celebrate the school's opening with a ribbon cutting.
We've gotten to learn a lot about Marcella's legacy through our staff trainings, and we have a little table set up inside with some of her personal items. And getting to see her as the person versus just the name on the building has been just really incredible to witness.
Lebeau's grandson and other family members shared stories from her life. The Sioux Falls Little League is chasing a World Series title, and some big-time fans are following their every swing. Residents at Touchmark at All Saints cheered the team from afar as they watched Sioux Falls win their World Series opener against Pennsylvania Thursday night.
Oh my, that was one of the better teams or games that I've seen in a long time. Max pitched 80 pitches, did you hear that? 80 pitches, and he still had a strong arm, which was great.
Touchmark residents say they'll have their pom-poms ready to wave again when Sioux Falls plays again on Monday. Let's take our first look at the forecast now with meteorologist Scott Munt in the Storm Center. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. Very good morning, everybody. Hot and humid, not only for today, but this will last straight through this coming weekend. Along with this humidity, we'll watch for redeveloping showers and thunderstorms, much like what we had yesterday. Start across western South Dakota, eventually move into parts of eastern and KELOLAND as we do go into the late evening hours and into tonight. But in the meantime, expect these temperatures to reach the 80s and 90s. I'll have more details on your forecast coming up.
All right, thank you very much, Scott. Well, long before Jurassic Park hit movie theaters, the most famous dinosaur in the world came from South Dakota. It's been 35 years since a fossil hunter dug up 65-million-year-old T-Rex bones near Faith, South Dakota. Sue, as she came to be known, was the largest and most complete T-Rex skeleton ever discovered. But federal prosecutors allege that Sue was removed illegally from land held in trust by the Department of Interior. The lengthy legal case drew protesters who wanted Sue to remain in Hill City.
We are protesting because this was totally unfair in what they've done. They've come in and illegally removed our Tyrannosaurus Rex named Sue.
People in Hill City had hoped Sue would become a major tourist attraction for their town, but the courts ruled that Sue belonged to the rancher who owned the land where Sue was discovered. Sue is now on display at a museum in Chicago. Remedy Brewing Company in Sioux Falls is hosting a pair of events for families to enjoy. Woofstock is a fundraiser for Dakota Dachshund Rescue featuring adoptable dogs and a petting zoo from 1 to 5 p.m. Admission is free. Brick Falls features Lego displays and Remedy's pickleball court. Admission to Brick Falls is $10 for adults and $5 for children. The Heartland Country Corn Maze along Highway 11 southeast of Harrisburg is open for another season. Find your way through the 11-acre life-size maze in the shape of a rabbit from noon to 8 p.m. Sunday's hours are noon to 5. Books and Butterflies features a day of reading and creativity at the Butterfly House and Aquarium in Sioux Falls. Reach Literacy will have books for children to explore and take home, plus a chance to win gift cards from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. There will also be a craft station for kids to make their own books through 2 p.m. Tonight's concert at 11 at the Falls in downtown Sioux Falls features headliner Me Like Please. The free music starts at 7 p.m. with opening act Eileen Keene. And enjoy sprint car, street stock racing, and hobby stock racing at I-90 Speedway in Hartford. Gates open at 5, hot laps are at 6:30, the race is starting at 7. Admission is $20, $10 for children, and free for ages 12 and up. Scott?
And in weather, we'll continue with warm and humid conditions across the area. Afternoon temperatures may reach the 80s and 90s as these dew point temperatures do remain in the 60s and 70s. So expect thick humidity across the area through this weekend, and we'll probably interact with that with these thunderstorms that will develop late today across western South Dakota. They'll move east and northeast as we do go through the overnight hours, and they may greet us again by this time tomorrow morning or by the morning hours, daybreak we'll say, across eastern, northeastern South Dakota into Minnesota and northwestern Iowa. We'll get a break during the day before things do redevelop later in the evening and overnight. So we'll learn this type of pattern where I think the best chance to see the rain is during the overnight hours to cover central and eastern Kettleland. It will remain humid not only through the day today and tomorrow, but I think the higher dew point temperatures will last as we do get into much of the new work week, with numbers mainly in the 60s and 70s on occasion. Now there is that chance for severe weather to slight risk. That's level 2 out of 5. That covers western, central parts of eastern Kettleland, and that's with those thunderstorms later this evening and into the early part of tonight. In the meantime, our temperatures today will reach the 80s and 90s. We'll fall to the 60s and 70s for overnight lows tonight. And for tomorrow, you can expect another day with high temperatures in the 80s and 90s with thick humidity. You can always check the details of the 7-day forecast while you're here online. Have a great weekend.